So nice to see everyone's faces. Again, my name is Lauren. I am Allie's sister, and now Raven's first and favorite sister. Thank you so much for giving me a role like this on your big day, and I hope that Jason and I, serve you in the way that you totally came through for us. I know you two have moved quite a bit, 10 times in 5 years. But through it all, I think you've shown us that home is where your people are, and you are certainly our people. Speaking of home, the first time that I met Raven was in the great state of Indiana. It was 2018 in the spring. I flew into Indianapolis and then drove down to what is undisputably the best Big Ten school in Indiana.
Hoosier by birth, Boilermaker by gift of God.
It was then that I found out that Raven was in fact from
West Lafayette.
When I realized that he was majoring in something very futuristic, makes sense that he works for Google now in tech. That was cool, but the fact that he was from West Lafayette and he decided to come to Bloomington made me really respect him. But before Raven came into the picture, it was me that took care of Allie. I was her big sister. I watched over her. Allie was always a really trusting kid. From the ages of 0 to 6, Allie believed that she was not only adopted, but also that I found her under a rock. In her defense, if SpongeBob could live in a pineapple, and Patrick could live under a rock, she wasn't that far off. Christmas Eve was always one of our favorite traditions in the Chamberlain household. We as a family would go to Mass, and then we would get to come home, and Allie and I would each get to pick a present under the tree to open. There was a particular year, 2007, when Sperry boots were very in vogue, that my parents decided they were going to switch up the rules for the first time. So, here are the rules. Number 1, Bill and Vicky get to pick both of the presents. Number 2, Allie and I had to win in a coin toss. The person who won would get to pick the first present. If they didn't like the first present that they opened, then they could opt to choose the second present, but it was unopened. So, coin toss. Allie wins. Allie gets the choice between a huge box, big red bow, or one that was much more modestly in size. Not a lot of fanciness. Which one do we think Allie picked?
The big one.
It was the big red bow. I still to this day don't remember what was in that box, but Allie unwrapped it in probably less than 5 seconds, and it was good enough for her. She kept it. She didn't want the second present. So, I'm up to bat next. I slowly take off the wrapping paper, gently, at a glacial pace. As I take the wrapping paper off, I see a box. It's navy and white striped, has a blue sailboat on it. I take the top off, and before I can unwrap that white tissue paper, the smell of leather hits my nostrils. I take the present out, and I hold up triumphantly a pair of Sperry boots gleaming against the Christmas lights. Allie has just been hit by a women's size 7 bullet. She wails. She falls back. As she comes back up for air, she tells my parents how unfair and unjust life is. Stomps up the stairs and slams the door. All of this is on video. What Allie didn't realize was that I knew what was in both boxes the whole time. She had totally been set up. And I think it was at that moment that she never fully trusted myself, my mom, or my dad again. So fast forward a little bit, Allie hits teenage years. She tests the water of authority. In 2013, Allie was a senior in high school. I was a senior at IU. Allie decided she's gonna come visit me for the weekend. Great, love it. Allie tells mom and dad, yeah, I'll be there Friday, Saturday. And to my knowledge, Allie was there Saturday. So, that Friday night, I'm making dinner with my roommate, Natalie, and we get a phone call. She gets a phone call. It's her brother, who is a freshman at McNutt, the dorms there. And it says, hey, there's this girl that looks a lot like Lauren. I think it's her sister. She's had one too many Smirnoff Ices. You need to come pick her up. I don't know how much Allie remembers about that night, but I think she had a pretty good time because Indiana gained another Chamberlain the following year.